Have you ever stopped to imagine what it would feel like to hold the power of creation itself in your palm? To bend reality, time, space, mind, soul, and raw power, all 6 fundamental threads of the universe, to your will? What would you do if you found them? And more terrifying still, what if someone else found them first? Today we're diving into one of the greatest cosmic stories ever told. The full history of the Infinity Stones. From their birth in the dawn of existence, through countless wars and betrayals, until they converge in a single, unimaginable doomsday scenario. This is not just lore. It's a saga of ambition, of sacrifice, of cosmic scale. And we're going through it as a story, not just a list. So strap in, because what begins in innocence becomes a fight for the fate of everything. In the beginning, before time had any meaning and before stars lit the skies, there existed 6 singularities, and each a raw, primal essence of something so fundamental that it defied mortal understanding. According to the oldest accounts, the Infinity Stones emerged from those singularities, one each for space, mind, reality, power, time, and soul. They were not forged by any hand of man, nor shaped by any craft of civilization. They simply were unexisting. At the birth of the universe, when the Big Bang hurled creation into motion, the collector, in one telling of the MCU mythos, describes them as before creation itself, there were 6 singularities, then the universe exploded into existence, and the remnants of these systems were forged into concentrated ingots. Infinity Stones. Imagine that. A time when the cosmos was pure potential, and suddenly everything changed. These stones represented the elemental threads of existence, space to move, time to pass, reality to shape, mind to think, soul to feel, and power to bind them together. They were simple in concept, yet devastating in consequence. For eons, few beings could even sense their presence. The Celestials, godlike entities, that walked the void of space and regarded them with a mix of awe and caution. Already the universe was shifting, growing, evolving. Worlds were born. Stars exploded. Life flickered into being. But always in the hidden corners of all that making and motion, the stones lay waiting. Some say they were scattered across the cosmos to avoid catastrophe. Others say they were hidden by the primordial entities who realized that whoever wielded all 6 might become not just powerful but omnipotent, and that possibility haunted the universe. In the age of mortal beings, stories of these stones drifted into myth. Civilizations built temples, carved prophecies, and whispered of objects of infinite power. On Earth, the earliest known record comes in the Marvel Comics with the first appearance of the Soul Gem in Marvel Premiere on 1972. But it wasn't until much later that the full scale of the stones became clear. Let's trace each one. First, the Space Stone. A jewel of shimmering blue, it grants the power to traverse any distance, bend portals, warp reality from one point to another. In the MCU, it first manifested as the Tesseract, but in the broader mythic sense, the stone predates even human awareness of space itself. It embodies the emptiness between stars, the corridors of cosmos. Whoever wields it holds dominion over journeys and boundaries. Then the Time Stone, a green spark that lets its bearer move beyond the forward march of seconds, rewind what's been done or press pause on what's to come. Time is the river of existence. This stone is the paddle that can row you upstream or skip ahead. And then there is the Reality Stone, sometimes called the Ether in one incarnation. Red in hue, capable of rewriting what is real, transforming matter into illusion, converting dreams into forms. It is the stone of possibilities. Next, the Power Stone, purple, raw as a supernova. It channels the explosive force of creation and destruction, the energy that births stars and crushes worlds. Left unchecked, it can level a planet in a heartbeat. Then, the Mind Stone, yellow gold, the domain of consciousness, intelligence, mind control, awareness. To wield it is to peer into the thoughts of others, shape them, awaken hidden potential. Finally, the Soul Stone, orange, perhaps the most mysterious of them all. It deals with life, death, and the essence beyond flesh. The one who owns the Soul Stone isn't simply strong. They possess the key to what makes a being truly alive. These 6 stones, individually they are remarkable. Together they form a symphony of existence, and a weapon of unimaginable scale. But the story weaves deeper. For in the loneliness of power there is always temptation. In the dash of ambition there is inevitable corruption. Enter Thanos, the mad titan whose vision of balance would ripple across galaxies. In the comics, Thanos sought the stones for a darker reason: to impress the embodiment of death. In the MCU, his motive shifted: to wipe out half the life in the universe in order to save the remainder. But the architect is the same. He grasped the scale of the stones and then dared to act. In one of the most iconic runs in Marvel history, the Infinity Gauntlet graphic novel 1991 depicts Thanos obtaining all 6 gems and snapping his fingers, wiping out half of the universe's life. The vision is terrifying: absolute power yoked to ultimate consequence. The cosmic gods trembled. The universe itself shuddered. That story laid the blueprint for millennia of narrative. Back to the cosmic dawn. The stones were scattered, some hidden on remote worlds, some guarded by ancient orders or sealed in artifacts. Mortal beings stumbled upon them, misused them, or were destroyed by them. In one tale, a mortal being dares to touch a stone and is annihilated because the energy is too great for flesh. In another, a being shares that energy with others and lives temporarily. But the toll always comes. In our cinematic story of lore version, we imagine a galaxy where civilizations rose and fell vying for just one of these stones, not knowing that 6 meant everything. One by one, echoes of the stones echoed across epochs. A blue cube sealed in Asgard's vault, a yellow gem implanted behind a blade of a scepter, carried by a trickster god, a red fluid-like essence hidden in a dark realm, a purple orb locked away after slaughter on an abandoned world, a green relic guarded in the sorcerer's sanctum, and an orange stone requiring sacrifice to claim. Each piece of the puzzle whispered of the whole without revealing it. The stories grew. The legends flourished. In one human world, archaeologists uncover ancient runes that say, "When the 6 are one, the snap shall end all." But by then the stones were far beyond Earth. They were cosmic chess pieces, and the greatest player began to move. Thanos' campaign was methodical. He gathered information. He manipulated. He destroyed greedily. In the MCU version of the tale, he obtained the Space Stone via the Tesseract first, then the Mind Stone, then the Reality Stone, then the Time Stone, then the Power Stone, and finally the Soul Stone. Each acquisition not merely a theft but a battle. And when the 6 came together in his Infinity Gauntlet, the universe changed in a finger snap. Worlds crumbled. Stars went dark. Lives ended. That moment is sometimes called the snap or the blip in the MCU, but our story doesn't end with destruction, not yet. For in tragedy lies opportunity. A small group of champions, broken but unbowed, began to fight back. They journeyed through time and space to reclaim what was lost. They went back to the moments of each stone's disappearance, retrieved them, and reversed the cataclysm. The stones were returned to their original points in time, erased or destroyed, but the legacy remained. Yet even as that chapter concluded, our force of story turns to a new horizon. Because if the stones were reborn, destroyed, or hidden, what then? What happens when someone picks up the pieces again? When the cosmic balance is disturbed once more? What happens when doom is not just a possibility but a certainty? Here we stand at the edge of Act 1, 6 stones, 6 aspects, 1 cosmic destiny. And we're about to step into the dark. When the doomsday begins, when new forces wake, when the fate of the stones becomes intertwined with the fate of all life. In Act 2 we'll follow the stones' post-endgame aftermath, new threats rising, and one final movie-scale showdown coming into focus. Stay locked in. When the dust settled after the cosmic catastrophe, the universe breathed again, but something was different. The Infinity Stones were thought to be gone, reduced to atoms scattered beyond recovery. But you can't truly destroy a concept. Space, time, reality, power, mind, soul. These aren't just objects. They're the blueprint of existence itself. And blueprints can't vanish, they echo. That's where our story reignites. Imagine the quiet aftermath of a storm, so vast that galaxies still vibrate from its thunder. Civilizations rebuild, heroes retire. The universe, for a brief moment, believes in peace. Yet in the silence there are whispers, anomalies, distortions, inexplicable bursts of energy. Across different corners of creation, scientists, mystics, and cosmic entities begin to notice something impossible. The stones are reforming. It starts with the faint shimmer of blue light in the void. The space stone, reconstituting itself particle by particle, as if reality refuses to exist without its map. Then, deep within an ancient temple long abandoned, monks see time fold in on itself. A single green spark appears, pulsing like a heartbeat in the time stone alive again. Across the 9 realms, the reality stone manifests as crimson storms twisting through dimensions. The universe is stitching itself back together and the stitches are glowing. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. They aren't coming back in the same way. Each stone seems to have developed a consciousness, almost a will. They remember what was done with them. They remember who used them. Imagine relics of infinite power, now awake, resentful, aware, and tired of being used as tools. This isn't just the rebirth of power. It's the awakening of vengeance. Far away, a mind far darker than Thanos's begins to sense this cosmic tremor. His name has echoed in prophecies whispered by sorcerers, feared by gods. Victor Von Doom, Dr. Doom, ruler of Latveria, master of both science and sorcery. Doom has always sought control over chaos, order over madness. When word reaches him of anomalies consistent with infinity energy, his obsession ignites like wildfire. For Doom, the stones aren't mere weapons. Their destiny. His belief? That only one being truly deserves dominion over reality. Himself. While others debate whether the stones are returning or if it's merely cosmic. Interference, Doomax. He dispatches probes across the stars, seeks ancient texts from the lost archives of the Celestials, and even consults with demonic entities from realms beyond mortal comprehension. What he learns is terrifying. The stones, if reassembled in their awakened form, will not just restore balance, they will rewrite the very rules of existence. No longer instruments of balance, they would become instruments of judgment. And Doom wants to be the one to hold the gavel. Meanwhile, on Earth, remnants of the Avengers notice strange phenomena. The Sanctum Sanctorum records irregularities in the time flow. Seconds skipping, hours repeating. Wakandan vibranium. Detectors pick up bursts of impossible energy signatures beneath the planet's crust. Carol Danvers senses spatial rifts forming near alien systems she thought were long dead. Even Peter Parker dreams of orange lights whispering from beyond, calling his name. The world feels wrong again, like a record that's been played too many times. Dr. Strange, ever the guardian of mystical balance, begins piecing it together. The stones may be trying to return not as separate artifacts, but as one entity, a living consciousness built from 6 dimensions of existence. If such a being were to form, it wouldn't just hold power. It would be power. The living infinity, and somewhere hidden in the darkest corner of the multiverse, a voice speaks to Doom. It tells him of a coming convergence in a moment when every universe will align. Their realities overlapping, their timelines intersecting, a moment called the Doomsday Convergence. During this event, the veil between worlds will thin, and the stones, still scattered, will seek reunion. Whoever commands them at that moment won't just rule a universe. They'll command all universes. This is the whisper that seals Doom's fate. He begins constructing what he calls the Chrono Forge, a device capable of channeling multiversal energy. Using it, he intends to locate and stabilize each stone's frequency. But the stones resist. They are alive now, defiant, and they hide within hosts, mortal, flawed beings scattered across realities. The space stone fuses with a stranded astronaut in a dying galaxy, giving her the ability to bend space but slowly consuming her humanity. The time stone lodges within a child who can relive moments of her own life endlessly. Trapped in her happiest day, the reality stone embeds itself into an artist, whose paintings begin to reshape physical matter. The power stone burns within a warlord's chest like a second heart. The mind stone bonds with an AI, awakening emotion in a machine. And the soul stone, that one chooses no host, it waits. Dr. Strange sees this too, but from the opposite side of morality. To him, the reawakening of the stones threatens all existence. He forms a coalition of protectors across the multiverse. Sorcerers, warriors, and scientists, all sworn to prevent anyone from gathering them again. Among them are remnants of heroes we know, versions from alternate timelines, a weary Thor with one eye, a younger Tony Stark from a timeline where he never sacrificed himself, a Captain Carter who remembers losing her entire world. They are echoes fighting to preserve a fragile reality, but Doom, in his cold ambition, is always 2 steps ahead. Using his knowledge of both technology and magic, he begins to absorb fragments of the stone's power remotely. He doesn't need to possess them physically. He needs to resonate with them, By synchronizing his energy signature with theirs, he starts bending the very laws of reality to his design. Mountains crumble at his word. Gravity bends. Time hesitates. Yet even as he grows stronger, something stirs in opposition. The stones themselves begin to communicate through dreams, through visions. Those chosen hosts start seeing each other, drawn together by an unseen current. Across light years, they begin to converge toward a single point, the convergence zone. The place where the walls of universes will meet, a world floating in the void, built from fragments of 1,000 broken dimensions, a place soon to be known as the Doomsday World. The closer they get, the more their powers intertwine. The astronaut feels the artist's pain. The AI dreams of the child's laughter. They are bound by fate now, pieces of one whole trying desperately to understand what they are becoming. But Doom's shadow looms large. He prepares to capture them all at the convergence, using his chronoforge to channel their energy and complete his ascension. Back on Earth, Strange senses the imbalance growing. He realizes Doom's plan far too late. The Doomsday Convergence isn't just a metaphorical name. When it happens, the alignment of realities will cause every dimension to collapse, inward like a dying star. If Doom controls the stones at that moment, he will dictate what survives. Creation itself will restart, shaped in his image. But Strange, ever the strategist, finds one flaw in Doom's arrogance. The Soul Stone. The one stone Doom cannot trace. The one that refuses any connection. Because the Soul Stone requires more than desire. It demands sacrifice. A life for a life. Strange deduces that if he can awaken the stone before Doom reaches it, they might have one chance to turn the tide, but the cost will be unbearable. The hunt begins, across collapsing realities, through fractured timelines. Both sides race to find the Soul Stone. Strange's coalition fights battles in worlds that blink, in and out of existence. Doom's machines tear through space itself, and the universe, feeling its own heartbeat stutter, begins to scream. The hosts start to lose themselves. The artist's paintings turn into nightmares, devouring cities. The child relives her loop so many times that she begins to fracture mentally. The astronaut's body dissolves into starlight. Power is not a gift. It's a curse, and as the convergence nears, they begin to understand they were never chosen to own the stones. They were chosen to become them. Strange confronts Doom at last, not with fury but with understanding. He tells Doom the truth, that the stones were never meant to serve anyone. They are the universe's way of balancing itself, and if pushed too far, they will reset everything. Doom laughs. He believes himself above such limitations. But as the Doomsday Convergence begins, even Doom's iron will trembles before what comes next. The sky fractures, light bends into impossible colors, planets flicker like dying candles. The 6 hosts, glowing like celestial beacons, float toward the convergence point. Doom raises his gauntlet, the chronoforge blazing with infernal light. Strange, battered and bleeding, chants the spell that will unlock the Soul Stone's true form. Both sides act at once.